What I'm going to show you guys today is how I'm going to clean and detail carefully the original Brembo brake calipers. This is old single stage paint, and also the Ferrari logo is painted on. There's no clear coat over the logo, so you have to be very careful that you don't abrade and rub this off. So we're going to be using the Fanatic wheel cleaning foam, some detailing brushes. I'm going to use the Rupes Hybrid Nano, and there's a little tiny chip right there. I'm going to touch that up. I'm going to mix some PPG paint, and I'm going to dab that on and touch that up as well. So let's get set up right now, and I'll show you guys start to finish. All right, guys, we're all set up. I have my Blitz tray on the ground just because I want to capture all the junk that comes off here. You guys could just see visually how clean the undercarriage and suspension area is, but there's going to be another video where I clean all the underbelly trays and everything, but we're not going to do that today. Being that I just did the wheels, I did a full high-level detail on the wheels. I want to do the brake calipers. They're looking kind of, dirty and nasty. This is single stage paint. The logo is painted on. There's no clear coat on this. So we got the foam at 5.0 set up with 4 ounces of Fanatic wheel cleaning foam, the same solution we did the wheels with. And I got some of my bores here, detailing brushes. And then I'm going to touch up some of the spots with the Rupes Hybrid Nano and the Rupes Fine Polished. And then I'm going to go over it. We're going to give it a coat of Fuso, Soft 99 Fuso coat, which is a PTFE Teflon-based wax, just to give it some protection. It's also going to stop a lot of the brake dust from sticking to it. So here we go. All right, we're just going to foam it up. I'm trying not to make a mess here with everything else, so you guys could see this on camera. Let me just get the camera. The stuff works outstanding, the Fanatic wheel cleaning foam, because it has corrosion inhibitors in it. It's non-acidic. It does not have a hazardous corrosive pH. So this is what you're going to want to use, and this is why I designed it for safely cleaning wheels, brakes, and suspension systems where you're not going to get the corrosion of the white metal and the plated finishes. So that's just with a quick spray. And you guys can see how safe and easy this is, and all the brake dust and all the accumulation that's been on here for years is safely coming off. So I mean, the car is in such great condition to begin with, which is awesome, because if these brake calipers were wrinkled up and the finish was shot, I would be pulling them off and showing you guys the start to finish of a rebuild and a full repaint professionally by myself, because I do the caliper refinishing services for various exotic cars and new cars today, and I list that service on the Fanatic website. I think we're pretty good with the initial clean, and you can also see how bright it's making the stainless steel caliper pin right here, that whole section, the spring-loaded pin. Oh man, a lot of junk came off of here. So there's definitely a couple of spots that are going to have to be touched up. But overall, it's still pretty clean. So you can see that there, the Blitz tray is filled with gunk. So I'm going to blow dry this off right now, and then I'm going to go in there by hand, and I'm going to pretty much bring this finish, which is pretty dull, we're going to bring it back to life. All right, guys, so we're going to be using Fanatic Secret Weapon for the initial reconditioning of the calipers. So we're going to shake it well, because this is a really good surface cleaner, and it's not aggressive enough to take off the paint and, of course, the logo, and that's kind of what we want. So we're just using a microfiber towel. We're going to load up the towel a little bit, and we're just going to do this all by hand initially, because I don't know the condition of the paint that's on here. You could see some of the black paint is actually, looks like it's coming off because it's single stage. Now in here it's a little tougher to get to, so you got to get a nylon wedge tool. I have these on my website. It's indispensable for doing stuff like this if you really want to be anal and kind of get in there. And there's a couple of chips in the caliper, most likely from stones or from the car being serviced over the 26 years life it's been on the road, but that's normal. And I'm going to mix some PPG 9300 2K paint, because I have it at the house, with some hardener and reducer, and we're going to get this thing touched up. It's going to be like good as new. You're never going to notice it. So just by doing the Secret Weapon, we're getting the surface like really decontaminated and cleaned. I mean, you can't really clay these calipers. I don't think that's really going to do much. You really want to get the surface nicely broken down and fresh with very, very mild micro abrasives. Okay, so we're going in there like that. Now, I got some foam swabs here, and we're gonna dip it in Secret Weapon like this, and I'm just gonna be able to go into some of these little detailed areas because, like I said, I'm a fanatic with this stuff, and you really want to get back here. These are the harder spots to get the product in, is over here. And I'm also going to get my miniature little detailer and wand to go in there as well. So got that, and you could probably see it. The sun just came out, how it really brought this to life. So that's the initial step. Got the surface nice and clean, the caliper's nice and clean, the pin mechanism here is nice and clean, there's no corrosion, there's no rust, and that's just what I like. Okay, and as far as the little touch-ups we're going to do here and here, it's no big deal. So now we're going to move over to the Rupes Hybrid Nano. We got a yellow foam pad. This pad's actually pretty worn out. And I usually use worn out pads because they're a little bit broken down whenever I'm doing calipers, just because I want to have the least amount of cut as possible. And this is what I'm using, the fine polish. And we're going to go start at slow speed. And this tool is absolutely amazing. I love this tool. My favorite tool from the brand, and the one that I use the most. Gotta get the crossover line. Okay, so we're gonna give it a little bit more polish, just a little dab. Now we're gonna do over here carefully. I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna put barely any pressure. And you can see the pad. You see that's the color transfer of the single stage paint that's on there. And like I said, this paint is old. It's not new. But I tell you, with a little bit of attention to detail, you could really bring these calipers back to life. Like you guys could see that there. They feel phenomenal. They're not peeling, which is the important thing. When they start peeling, it's very common on Porsches. The G-body Porsches, the calipers get trashed, and the 964s, and I mean, you see it. It depends if the car's, had a rough life usually. Any kind of track duty will usually overheat the calipers. So I'm gonna go get my my other tool, and we're gonna get further detail in here, and I'll show you guys that in a couple. All right, guys, so I got my Makita 18-volt cordless drill attached with the flex shaft, and we're gonna be using this to kind of go in there and get some of these fine details that I can't get with the Rupes Hybrid Nano. So before we get started on setting this up and locking in the speed, I just will prime the foam pad a little bit. I'm using a yellow foam pad again, just because I don't want to go too crazy with the cut. Got the pad all primed up, just like I show you there. So we're gonna get started right now. And this is a really cool tool to have. They're like really inexpensive. Like 30 bucks for the kit. And I did a video on this about a year or so ago on the GT350 that I had, the red one. And you can kind of go in there all the way back. This tool is great because you can kind of get in there underneath the crossover tube and get this whole area polished out. You can see all the black paint that's coming off. It's just all oxidation and age, because I'm sure nobody's ever done this on this car. Because like I said, when these cars were new and people owned them, they weren't really considered collectible. They were just considered new cars. It's a newer Ferrari. You take care of it, you hand wash it, you keep it in the garage in a battery tender. And that's pretty much how most of these cars spend their lives. And then as the prices have come down over the years, enthusiasts get their hands on them, they track them, they modify them, and you know, it's just different ownership throughout the years, and I'm just really a fanatic, like you guys see. Factory Brembo caliper came out amazing, really brought the car back to life. Now the sun went down. I'm not sure if you could see the gloss intensity on camera, but I'm just going to tell you, it's a pretty big difference from when I started to where I am right now. But like I said, all these little castings, you can't get in there with a flat polishing tool, so you have to use something with a cone and a flex shaft, and just attach it to a drill. And I will link this one. I think it's, I got to remember the company that made this kit, so I send you guys in the right direction. But I bought it on Amazon. I believe it's about 40 bucks or $32 or something like that, and it just works really, really well. Okay, so pretty much good to go here. Now, next step, I'm going to mix some paint to do some touch-ups. So let me come back. Okay, so I got some PPG 9300 single stage black, and I'm just gonna put a little bit in my mixing container. I already put a little bit of hardener in there. So I got my catalyst right here, and I'm just gonna put a drop of reducer just so it'll flow out better. Okay, that's pretty much all we're gonna put. Actually, probably gonna put a little bit more paint. Okay, so when you're doing like touch-ups like this, you know, these little cups are great. I get these at the local Sherwin-Williams Auto Body Supply. So you can kind of mix your small little gradients. Yes, you do waste a lot of stuff as far as materials go to do touch-ups, but if you properly catalyze everything in these mixing cups, it's going to ensure that it has good adhesion and a good bond. So I'm going to mix this up, get over to the car, and we're going to touch up the paint. Gotcha. Back. So I took a little bit of the catalyzed PPG paint and I put it in these little trays. This is usually what I use when I do touch-ups, and I'm going to be using a very fine artist brush here because I just want it to flow out a little bit better. And I'm just going to go in there and kind of touch up all these little nicks that are in the caliper. Just like that. So you got to be like a little artist with this stuff here. So we're going to go here. If these weren't in such good shape, I would just, you know, redo the whole caliper system, but these are too nice to strip them down and break them apart. I just don't think they're at that lifespan yet to require a full rebuild and a refinish. This brush works amazing. I get this at Michael's Art Center. If you walk in there, you can find some really good stuff that you can use pertaining to automotive and touch-up and stuff like that. So by catalyzing the paint, it's going to ensure that it's going to bond, especially on brake calipers that are going to be subjected to high heat. That's pretty much what you want. So I'm just going to wrap this up here, and I'm going to show you guys the finished results. So the caliper looks fantastic. It really does. You can see the gloss. The sun just came out. So I'm not going to put the Soft 99 Fuso coat on it today because I did several touch-ups with the paint, and it's pretty humid out. I want to give this several days to fully cure, and then I'll take the wheel back off and I'll do another coat of that. And it's not really important to see it. I wanted to show you guys the cleaning process, the polishing process, and also how I catalyze and mix them. So the wheels are done. You can see that video on my YouTube channel as well. The calipers came out fantastic. I did the front and rear calipers. So now we got the wheels properly decontaminated and detailed. We got all 4 brake calipers equally as impressive as well. Like I said, we're trying to preserve this car and, you know, bring it up to a much higher level than what it already is, and it's already at a very, very high level to begin with. So thanks for watching this new video on caliper detailing of the Ferrari F355 Berlinetta. Please subscribe to the Auto Fanatic channel and stay tuned for more content from auto detailing and more Ferrari 355 videos, including some upcoming drive videos. So I'm gonna get back in the car, beautiful day, car's clean, and I'm gonna go for a ride. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for more content.